shrink you all down if you don't mind. I don't need to see your all faces. All right, so I am the LinkedIn rock star. Thank you for that, Ben. I have been to 1,000 concerts, and I have ticket stubs from about 700 of them still. I've got demos around here. $6 Bob Marley ticket is my favorite one from 75, I think. And, you know, if you're a rock star, you got to really put up numbers. So I hit 30,000 connections on LinkedIn a long time ago. I'm maxed out on Facebook with friends, a little bit under. Got a room for a few more people and stuff, but the environment that I work in is one where the tradition of time in the business, you know, you're not the new guy on the block. I've been doing this longer than anybody. I'm the very first trainer in the country. And when I went to go find training, there was none, so I built it. And I've proceeded to go down every little thing you could possibly do and reverse engineer all you could do on LinkedIn back in 2004. And frankly, that wasn't much. All you could do is profiles and a little bit of searching. But it's come a long ways, and I've seen everything come and go. I'm in the stages right now of my book here on campaigns. It's called Campaign, obviously. And those are the books that Ben was talking about earlier and stuff. Fitting in and standing out is the principle behind those books. How to look the part on LinkedIn so you get invited to the party, you're on the search list, you know, you traffic coming in, but you're the one that gets clicked. You're the good guy. So I don't want to assume that you all understand why LinkedIn's so important. You know, I could dive right on in. I speak at a lot of audiences where it's a given, you know, it's a social media conference. You don't have to make the case for why LinkedIn is important, but I'm going to make a little bit of a case here. So right around half of the employees, not employees, about half of the users, people in the United States are on LinkedIn. Half the population, 50-50, they're on LinkedIn. How many young and old people are? You take the bell curve and you throw out the highs and the lows, and you're pretty much certain that who you're looking for out there is on LinkedIn, at least if they're at a certain age, you know, millennial or higher. And people are there because that's where they find their B2B customers. They don't generally find B2C customers. If people needing a mortgage, you know, don't put out on LinkedIn that I need a mortgage. But people in the mortgage business are easy to find. And folks that feed them, people who are, you know, realtors or other folks in other sectors out there that work well together are easy to find here, really easy. One of the biggest side effects and side benefits is the data that comes from LinkedIn. The data that's out there is usually their current email address, their current company. It's not old like it is if you buy a list or go to a list service or so. This data is really important if you do things outside of LinkedIn too, like email and stuff, you know. Gee, email, wouldn't it be nice to have an email address? Yeah, I'll make that go a little better. So you could pretty much find whatever you want in there. You just got to know how to look for it. There's little things that you put in to get things out. And if you look in the right places, you're going to find it. It's also a place where you can project a really powerful look and feel and image for your company. You can look bigger than you are. You know, a good graphic person and a content writer and stuff. And wow, you're right up there with you know, the big boys potentially, because they have the same page you do. There's pages out here, and I'll show you what a company has. They have a page. Now, there's different motivations that people have. Not everyone comes to it from the same spot. One of the biggest motivations is to be found. These are the people who are not active. They're not going out. They're waiting for other people to find them. It's like a billboard. They've got great profiles. Maybe they're telling people, call me, but they are not initiating the action. They're waiting to be asked out on a date. Okay. Very, very much, very important part there. The passive users, as we say. So LinkedIn has a special relationship with Google, a very one. In fact, the very special relationship puts somebody's name at the top of the Google search on just about any name. John Smith, well, guess what? There's some Johns there at the top. Now, I'm an author, so I get a special panel on the right-hand side. It's called the Google Knowledge Panel. And if you're an author, you get that. If you're a politician or a rock star or something, there's just have to be, you know, eligible to like be in Wikipedia to be able to claim this on the right-hand side. But notice, even if it wasn't me at the top, I'm still in number 2 here. You know, if I'm not that Mike O'Neill, maybe I'm one of these others. So even you see the website shows up as number 4. So a not big motivation for a lot of people though. It comes down to this. It comes down to money. If it costs me money, I don't know. If it makes me money, haha. Okay. If it makes me more money than it costs me, now you're talking. So if I put a few dollars in and get a lot more out, that's the idea here. You know, your time is money too. So when I talk about putting money in, I'm talking about your time as well. Now, everyone knows that LinkedIn is good for your career, or you should know that this is where the recruiters are hanging out. And if you're 30 years old and a programmer, you know damn well what I'm talking about. They're swamping you on LinkedIn with offers to come write code at my company. There's certain industries that are particularly popular right now. Not everybody needs to be involved, okay? Not everybody. The folks in your business that are mowing lawns out there don't need to be involved in LinkedIn. If you're just, your internal accountants don't need to be involved out there. But there are certain audiences that really do matter. First of all, right at the top. Hey, the boss has got to look the part. Sorry, the boss has got to look the part. If the boss doesn't and other people do, then, you know, it isn't flowing in the right direction. Precedent should flow down. Now, the marketing team, you expect the marketing team to have, you know, some pretty good savvy on LinkedIn, and they do. They know their stuff on LinkedIn. They got good profiles. They're doing posts. They're doing all kinds of stuff. Okay. They're always on it. The sales team, absolutely. And the sales team will do whatever it takes to get the deal sometimes. This is actually from a trade show, I believe, or a client show. And this sales team out here wanted to get the attention of somebody, and they did through my presentation. The recruiting team, they have a special version called LinkedIn Recruiter. So I'll be talking about a sales version here called Sales Navigator, but there's a special version that's actually quite pricey, $500 a month on up for most folks, for recruiters, and they can't live without it. They cannot live without it. This is the biggest revenue stream for LinkedIn, is the recruiting market and the products they sell to them, because people post jobs and the recruiters come in. They got that whole thing going on. They're more important than Indeed and Monster and those others. Just ask anybody, any recruiter. Hey, without my LinkedIn, I couldn't survive. But you know, in a lot of cases, it's not all of that. You know, that's part of what you do, and that's part what I do, and that one is, and that one is. It's all you. And I'm going to assume here, okay, for the rest of the presentation, that this is you. Okay, I'm not going to assume that you're a person on a team with management structure up above you. This presentation is primarily for the entrepreneurial spirit. Okay, it applies well to other things, but you should realize that this is the goal here. Okay, these are the folks I'm most aimed to please, and if this is you, well, I hope you're pleased. So we got to find out what you want. Well, I said motivations right at one time, you know. So in determining what you want, there's a little bit of looking in the mirror here. I'm somewhere in the middle here. I'm a little bit of left brain and right brain. I have a colorful imaginary side to me out here, very colorful. But I'm also a data guy, and you'll see all this system structure in here and stuff, logic. So this is a combination of both, but you'll kind of know which side you are and which you're not. If you're a logic sort of person, you might need to buy services from the right side. And if you're a colorful person, you might need to buy or get some other way services from the left, because you're not the CRM guy. You're the one who does the post. Both of them come into play here, okay? You know, targets on the left, the messages on the right. Messages are colorful and pretty, and the targeting is like a spreadsheet or a database. So one of the other things that people want are leads. Now, these are sales leads. They might be leads for all kinds of things. Let's just leave it in the term of leads in general, and you define how that is for you. For me, it's sales leads, but for other folks out there, it's relationships that matter most. So if it's relationships that matter most, then you have a different outlook on LinkedIn. You really do things differently than if you have a monetary bent about you. People can smell if you're out for the money or not. You know, the relationships lead to leads, but sometimes it's better to start with this principle. So fundamentally, another thing that people want from this, and they sometimes they don't know they want it because they don't know it's possible, but they want data to come from their campaigns. Okay, from LinkedIn, from the work that they do, the things on LinkedIn. Wouldn't it be great if that data got into my Outlook or into my Gmail or into my CRM system? Okay. And that data that comes from LinkedIn is about 2 steps removed from being into those sort of systems if you follow what we're doing here. Okay. So what you want versus what you need. And the what you need front, you need some time. Now you need time to learn it, or you need time to manage it, or you need time to sub it out, to read the reports, you need time to respond, you need some amount of time. Okay. I'm gonna say that 30 minutes a day is a good amount of time to spend on this. So if you're wondering, Mike, what kind of time are you talking about out there? 30 minutes a day. Yeah. And if you miss a day, so what? It doesn't mean the next day is necessarily 60 minutes, okay? But try to put 30 minutes a day in, all right? But 30 minutes a day doing what? Well, there's a little bit of knowledge, and you're going to get some of that knowledge here today. And what do I do with my 30 minutes? You know, how do I spend my time? How do I spend my time most effectively? Not how do I just spend my time? And part of that is implementing some systems that do some of this for you, perhaps. Because if you're going to get busy out here, it's really nice not to handwrite letters, but to word process them. It's really nice to have a drill instead of a screwdriver, or an electric saw instead of a hand saw. There's elements here that take to systemization really well. And that's the end here. We kind of end with systems. So I'm going to show you what goes into systems and how that all works here in just a moment. But in order to do the things we want to do, we need the right tools. Okay, LinkedIn itself has 11 filters, and they're good ones. I'll show you. Okay, there's a free version. You can pay more money, get a paid version. And then there's a Sales Navigator version that we're going to pay more attention to here. It's $80 a month. You get a free month trial. I'd like anyone who's using Premium or Sales Navigator to tell me here. Unmute yourself and tell me what you're using. Ben, can you ask around on this? Folks?
Ben, you're muted still. You have to unmute yourself.
Or Shane, you can ask. I just need someone to let me know who's using a premium version or has used any of these products. Anybody?
This is Wayne. I paid for a premium version and subsequently did absolutely nothing with it, so it's a complete waste of money.
Got it. So the premium.
But that was my fault.
Okay, keep going around the circle here. Thank you, Wayne. I'll come back to that. Anyone else?
I've got Sales Navigator.
And who is that?
Sorry, that's Ben.
Oh, Ben does. I'm sorry. I saw it, Ben. I saw when you spoke. Oh, so Ben does. You kind of don't count in this. Okay.
Hey, this is James. I also paid for premium some time back. I didn't know what to do with it, and so I didn't really get my money's worth either.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So premium, when you pay $60 for premium, all you get is a little bit more of the features you already get. You don't gain 18 features. You just get more of the 11 features that you already get. It's a really poor value. It doesn't do much for you. You wouldn't hardly notice if you had it or not because the screens all look the same except you're paying $60 a month. I'm going to show you some Sales Navigator stuff, but I'll compare it. You get to see both of it here. Okay. So who to target? Who do we want to go after? This is a big component to this here is you know, we want to in our efforts out here target just the right people, not try to find anybody. We're not looking for a conversation just because we're desperate for one. We want very specific people.